They are summoning aliens with AI. Let's go. Let's get into it.
Got one that can see.
Good evening and good night. Welcome everybody back to Visual Disturbance. I got a doozy one for you today. It's going to be one that's very, let's just say, super serious here on the live stream here this afternoon. And the whole topic matter is, in the high, let's just say, high octane in the trending world, they are summoning aliens with AI. You won't believe this, folks. You're not going to believe this. A lot of strange things, AI, entities, demons. It's all out of control, folks. And the question is the occultist of old, the ancient ones with these magic rituals, was they, let's just say, conjuring up demons with their black arts and black magic, with technology or elements of the earth, and then with the human factor? And then you have to ask yourself, is it coming around in a loop once again here in 2026? Are we using AI in the human stance and collaborating with technology? Let's just go ahead and jump into this one today, folks. Thank y'all so very much for being here. Hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're going to jump into this real deep in a conversation and have some really interesting stuff along the way to talk about. So does anybody ever know the story in the account of Aleister Crowley? Aleister Crowley, everybody knows that he was an occultist, but there was something he did back in the early 1900s. And let's just chime in on that. It's pretty interesting. Aleister Crowley encountered something. He did something, an entity, and naming its, let's just say itself, Ayawass, Aiwass. But with these series of, let's just say, magical rituals conducted with another individual, with Mr. Crowley and Mr. Minor, during this, they claimed to have this first contact, this psychic contact with the trans-dimensional entity named Lam, that you see on the screen here, which Crowley described it as a non-human intelligence. Well, according to the account, Lam, in January 14, 1918, Aleister Crowley accidentally summoned this entity during this Amalantra working. So the Amalantra working was in New York City. And when you look at this and look at this occurring time and everything, and Crowley talking about this individual, this entity named Lam. But Ayawass, Aiwass, it's kind of interesting to me, not a coincidence. AI, kind of strange. So you have this Amalantra working, this black ritual, this ritualistic stance, something to do with a trans-dimensional gateway to communicate with some entity. Well, guess what that entity was and what the claiming of with Aleister Crowley. In the Book of Law that he written down and talked about this depiction of this guy right here, Lam. I did that on purpose. But Lam, Crowley described Lam as a, end quote, gray alien. Okay? We talked about the grays many times here on the channel. A gray alien type of intelligence viewed as a threshold consciousness. Okay? So Crowley was known for all kinds of different nefarious things: sex magic, black rituals, you name it, all kinds of insane things. So I sat back and thought about it. Non human intelligence, all these things tied into the society now, spiritual applications, physical applications, and you have to ask yourself, did Aleister Crowley open up a portal to communicate with this entity, Lam? And you ask yourself, well, the dimensional rift and all that, when you come into this psychic contact, interdimensional concept, and Crowley literally either summoned it, knew what he was doing, or it was accidental like the claim is. But my thought was, with the four-letter agency that starts with the N, a couple years ago I came across something that they was looking on the face of the earth, looking for portals. Not through SpaceX or any kind of organization, through, let's just say, the Kuiper Belt and going into the dark abyss, into the, let's just say, atmosphere. I'm talking about portals on the ground. And when I thought about this, that they was looking for portals on the ground, I asked myself one question. Did Aleister Crowley, this day in January of 1918, did he close that gate? Was the gate closed? Because I've read many times in the past with occultists and shamans of old, the word on the street is, if they don't close it before they die, it stays open forever. Surely that's not happening. Surely, say it's not so. Let's talk about, is these entities going to and fro in the earth? Is there something to do with ley lines? Is there something to do with stargates? Well, there's been an uptick in the UFO phenomenon, ufologists, and all these different things. Even we're going to show here in a second, even an individual that is in the higher ranks, that she has been a pretty big advocate for trying to, let's just say, disclose the UFO, UAP phenomenon. What are they? Well, the United States Representative, forgive me, Mrs. Luna, she's literally talking about, here lately, last few months, talking about the Book of Enoch, which I've read fragments. I've not read the whole thing in its entirety. I've read bits and pieces of it. It's a good read. Well, this Book of Enoch that everybody's talking about, it talks about Nephilim, it talks about gates, portals, you name it. It talks about, if you really wanted to kind of put it in the human translation now, interdimensional creatures, UFOs, you name it. And it's pretty bizarre. So Mrs. Luna is hitting the nail on the head and showing something of depictions and trying to get people to wake up in this reality that we've got portals, we've got entities playing around with humanity in some shape or form. But who opened up the portals? That's the ultimate question. Well, if you go look at this depiction, she's been posting this on X. Luna's uploaded this 15th century Italian Renaissance painting. It's also called a circular todo, commonly known as the Madonna of UFO. And what you see on the left side here, the Virgin Mary kneeling in prayer, dressed in blue cloak over a red gown, looking down at the infant Jesus while UFOs can be seen in the background. And it's just kind of interesting when you think about this, how far down the rabbit hole do we go? Well, when you look at the Book of Enoch and you think about the angels that left their first estate, it talks about who the angels was that taught mankind certain things, metallurgy, makeup for women, different things to do, defilement to the anatomy, all kinds of different things at Mount Hermon. If you go look at that and look at the 200 Watchers, the Book of Enoch explains a lot in detail about the sons of God, the Genesis 6 narrative, and the interbreeding with humanity, and also the creatures, bugs, you name it, cattle, whatever the case is. There has been something of interbreeding and a situation with also interdimensional. So, not only do we have this uptick, We got people saying that we need to read the Book of Enoch. And for years, we've been saying it here on this channel and other channels and other platforms, read the Bible. Understand that we are spiritual warfare. We're a spiritual understanding. The spirituality has been ripped from our, let's just say, our paradigm. They claim that everything is just all, sunshine and lollipops, like I say on the channel. And it's not. There's a spiritual application that's tied to the physical, and it's more spiritual than physical in in a lot of cases. And I think the Book of Enoch talks about that in very complex detail. And Miss Luna knows this. We know this here on the Visual Disturbance channel. And it's just kind of interesting. We're going to be talking about tonight on another channel, talking about the blue cloak. Not necessarily with the Mary here interpretation, but we're going to be talking about something through ancient antiquity with stargates. So we have this situation. We have people putting the big red elephant in the room, or however you want to say it, the big red bullseye, and saying, hey, we got to put the brakes on this. Something's happening. The gates, these stargates, whatever you want to call it, portals, are manifesting. We have craft. We have things that we cannot perceive, we cannot understand. But the Book of Enoch and the biblical narrative has been explaining that. And even in this 15th century, why would they put this circular tondo, on there, talking a literally depiction of like a tic-tac or a cylinder-shaped object. And it's kind of, I don't really approve of the having an imagery of Jesus and then there's UFO phenomena. But here's the thing. When you think about God and the creation of God, the sons of God used to be right there with God. And then there are things when they left their first estate and came down here and started teaching mankind all these different things. Well, let's just say they've continued it. Well, what if humanity, with the technological advancements in the teachings of these watchers, what if humanity has been able to use things diabolically to control the masses? And what if these ancient occultists, these people that have opened up portals, I'm talking about even back to the antediluvian world and back to antiquity, the days of Noah, what if those portals have never been, let's just say, turned off because the individual passes away before they can dematerialize the portal? And what if today, with humanity on the cusp of this so-called disclosure, what if this AI is summoning something, or just finding these ancient portals from these ancient, let's just say, warlocks and witches and occultists that have opened up these gates, so-called accidentally? And what if AI is summoning the aliens? Well, you can't make this stuff up, like I always say on the channel. Wouldn't you believe it? After we have this account with Aleister Crowley back in the 1918 narrative, we're 100 years over now, and we have a situation going on right now. This just came out yesterday. I seen it posted, and I said, hey, you can't make this stuff up. There's an incorporation here and something to do with the ancients and the AI seeking these things out. But there's a human connection. Well, according to this, we're going to show a video here in a few moments. A former employee of OpenAI is exposing Mr. Altman for claiming he is opening portals and summoning aliens. And let's just say he's using something. And let's just play this footage right here. It's pretty interesting.
Of power between nations and all of our security. One former OpenAI executive said, quote, "We're building portals from which we're genuinely summoning aliens. The portals currently exist in the United States and China, and Sam has added one in the Middle East. It's just like wildly important to get how scary that should be." This kind of AI capacity is shaping the balance of power between nations and all of our security.
Well, there you have it. It's just a 20-second give or take video there. Sorry for the little bit of a hiccup there. Sometimes that happens. But, so, according to this whistleblower, and you can see here, there has been reports of America, China, and also the Middle East. So, I had this epiphany listening to this and thinking, okay, whistleblowers, all this stuff. You hear the whistleblowers all the time, the UFO phenomenon, and all these different things. With a speculative mindset and a conspiracy mindset on top of it, and then coming at it from a spiritual application, it's kind of interesting that Aleister Crowley and all these folks back in the day, and if you go back and look into the wars of ancient times, or even in the 1900s, there's a story, there's evidence of bases being opened up because of paranormal activity, and they would set up a shop. I'm saying a base. Kind of interesting. Got to watch what I say here. So we have a report with Aleister Crowley in New York City doing this ritual and the Amalantra workings. And then you have to ask yourself now, we have America, China, and according to this, the Middle East opening up, let's just say, a Stargate with AI superintelligence. And Mr. Altman, according to this, the whistleblower account, he's doing it through AI. I've said it many times here on the channel that I think ancient AI has been around for a long period of time, and I think we're just catching up to this, let's just say, narrative or human perspective or human understanding. We can wordplay it all day long. But when you're building access portals to summon aliens, this reminds me of what the account with the D-Wave computers. You hear that term back in the day. I mean, is it 2012, 2013? They're talking about summoning the demon, and they can't do anything about it. Is it too late? Are we literally looking at something where we open it up, portals that it's just too late to put the, let's just say it all back in the box? Pandora's box has been opened, and now we have literally spiritual applications being done here. And maybe there's a little bit more to it, and obviously this is just scraping the surface here. We're just scraping the surface. So, could it be, and this is all just, like I said, me speaking and speculating what I'm thinking here, could ancient AI and AI, alien intelligence, angel intelligence, IWAS, the Lam from the Aleister Crowley event, could it all just be one big play and experiment with the principalities, the wickedness, and conjuring up these aliens? And also, when you think about the Manakuwabu, the gray aliens, the entities, the silicon, they call them android-like bodies. I've heard everything under the sun. Atlanteans, Lemurians. But what if it's these ancient portals, and this is where this abduction situation comes in, with the UFO phenomenon, and these bases are being locked down, and these stargates are being controlled. And what if that goes back to the antiquity times, when the sons of God made with the daughters of men, they took wives as they chose. Think about this. In some cases, the females would just go with them. But then when you hear about the hybridization program right now, literally in the trending news, forced is the term that Mr. Gates said. Forced. Kind of makes you wonder. Kind of makes you wonder where we're at here. And if you look at the Gray Decree and everything with Eisenhower, these portals and these ancient stargates, I think we're looking at something here when it has to involve the human mind, the consciousness, and you communicate and open that door. You hear this all the time about opening doors. I think this is where we're at. I really do think this is where we're at. We're building portals to get knowledge, to get fallen knowledge. Or it could be hybridization and the whole preflab of just everything. Categorization of every type of entity, hybrid humans. It could be a preflab of all that. So we could literally be at the cusp of something being revealed. But has it already been revealed? And this AI is sneaking around and doing topography and sneaking in and saying, okay, this is where I need to do my location. This is where the lithium is. This is where this location is. This is where all these elements are. And I've got to get stronger. I got to build a dystopian future. But we're going to do it on the backs of humans. Think about what I'm saying. The account with the Manakuwabu and the tribal Brazilian tribal leader, talking about they're tricksters. They want something from you, but there's a pros and cons. We've talked about this many times on the channel. They'll be sneaky, they'll be tactical, they'll give you knowledge, they'll give you something, all of a sudden, they take your soul to Sheol, inner earth, the tunnels, the ant people. This is what we're dealing with here. This is what Mr. Aleister Crowley was dealing with. I really do think that. I think this character, Lam, we can call him Ham, we can call him Iwas. These characters are being literally given out through antiquity, and they masquerade, and we're dealing with something so large beyond our pay grade and our peripheral. We're not seeing that this is interdimensional. Just like Miss Luna, just like Mr. Tim, all these higher-ups are saying there's an interdimensional concept. Well, also, if AI gets to a certain level of superintelligence, and on the drop of a hat, they don't have to have. Excuse me, it doesn't have to have human interaction. We're talking about something here where the keys get unlocked, the chains and the shackles, and anything antiquity. If we look back to the ancient Nephilim kings and the days of, you can call it the demiurge, you can call it the antediluvian realm, the pre-Adamic world. There's things coming up on the earth once again. And I really do think with AI and human interaction and then technology and the right element, we got us a Stargate. Either way you want to look at it, either way you want to literally put that bow on that present, this is a Stargate. We have ancient knowledge. We have been given things like the Book of Enoch, like Mrs. Luna was talking about. We have things that are written down. And it's kind of interesting that in 1947, the Book of Enoch was found, but you can go look this up. It's kind of strange, not only with that, and I've heard that the Book of Enoch was also found in Illinois, here in the America. So it's kind of strange. I can't remember the time frame on that precisely, but in 1947, this whole thing started unraveling. And then those times of the Roswell incident and all these other things, these other applications, it makes you wonder what's really going on. So with Luna, all these representatives, somebody is on the understanding that we are at this disclosure phase. But I think it's more to it. I think there's so much more to it. And here on the channel, we're just scraping literally fragments. It's not even fragments. It's dust particles to what really is going on out there. And we have literally ancient knowledge, ancient individuals, ancient entities that's been roaming around. And their little Vimanas, their wheels upon wheels, their fiery chariots. And they've been literally doing all kinds of things on the face of the earth, manipulating humans. And then you think about the adversarial stance with Satan, God, Jesus, Lucifer, all these things with the light bearers. We have seraphim, we have cherubim, we have all these certain hierarchy of angels, and they left their first estate. You can look at that at the book of Jude, and then you can look at the book of Enoch talking about they left their first estate. So that's why we're seeing this uptick. We're seeing things, and they're literally, something's happening. There's a spiritual thing to this, or we're waking up to, we've been told stuff for a long period of time that has literally defragmented our brains to mush, but our ancient ancestors knew this like it was verbatim. They already knew how this stuff worked, even the days of Moses and the days of Noah, all back in the ancient days. They knew exactly what was going on, and that's why you have the flood narrative. You can go look that up. Noah's flood was very interesting when you take a deep dive on that. So we have all this ancient parallels and all this paradoxical situations happening. And you have to ask yourself, well, how far can AI go? And how far is humanity taking it? This literally makes you think of Stargate, the movie, or Stargate SG-1. It's like a documentary on steroids, and we are literally facing it. And I think this is why there's so many cover-ups in so many national forests and so many different places that are literally, let's just say, not disclosing or keeping things secret behind this veil, like the Wizard of Oz, and holding the forts down to keep everybody away because there's ancient gates, ancient information The people out west, when in Nevada, in all the Hopi prophecy, all those folks out there talk about communicating with ant people, communicating with something that's coming out of the tunnels. Give them knowledge. We're sitting here getting new knowledge. That's the claim. There's a lot of people out there with prophetic, and they're saying that, hey, we're going to get new knowledge this year. Well, the knowledge is already there. The problem is, and we've been told this, and God that put us here is like saying, hey, wake up, children. This is going to be a reveal, but your ancient ancestors already knew it. But you can do better. You can fight this. There's a spiritual war going on. And you can have understanding and articulate our reality. Don't be fooled. Don't be deceived. And this is why I'm saying that the dangers of AI, how far is it? And it's ironic to me that the higher-ups, even Mr. T recently, is saying that we need a kill switch for certain AIs. What's that? What's he even alluding to? What's he even referring to? A kill switch? What? Think about what I'm saying here. Think about what I'm saying. Is it a kill switch to turn off the portal, or is it to turn off something that we're conjuring up this demon from the errors of the ancient civilizations, these spirits, these embodied spirits, like the Book of Enoch talks about? The Book of Enoch talks about the embodied spirits. When the giants of old passed away from the flood and died on the face of the earth, they become embodied spirits that roam the earth. So it's interesting. They want to entertain getting a physical form again, getting another body, another anatomy. It's kind of ironic that all this stuff is happening at this center point in our reality, 2026. And these things have been here for forever, for a long period of time. They've had plenty of time to map out and literally figure out what our tendencies are, what our faults are, and everything, because they was taking the sons of God back in the day, taking humanity, the sons of God made with the daughters of men. They was taking the daughters of men and doing literally test experiments, let's just face it, and doing all kinds of diabolical things, and now we're seeing it. So whatever's happening with human interaction, with entity interaction, and now with AI, something is coming, and it cannot be stopped now. And that's why they're dumping tons and trillions of dollars into AI centers. And I said this on the channel years ago. The ley lines in these ancient portals, you watch. There's going to be something conjure up with this. And little did I know that I'd be doing a show in 2026 saying, hey, it's here. And then years ago, people thought I was a nut job. Even when I was doing my old occupation, and people would laugh at me. They would scoff at me talking about interdimensional gateways, portals, and different geological sections of the United States that I've looked and mapped out and looked on Google Earth imagery, and they make fun of me. But here we are, and we got the higher-ups saying, hey, something's happening. Go back to the ancient books. Look at this. Look at that. But here comes AI swooping in and possibly could alter the face of history. And if we don't put restraints on it, we are going to look at something here that's going to continue what we've taught it and build off those ancient principles and build off the principles they've built from us. And we got ourselves a Stargate SG-1, Stargate movie on steroids. Literally, biological consequences, mutations, entities roaming and going to and fro without even seeing them because they're interdimensional. It's time to wake up, folks. It's time to get really real about the severity of our reality. And then people that are looking into spiritual wickedness and spiritual powers and all these different things, the term that keeps coming up, the one word. And people, I've seen people from all walks of life, they're saying, is there something to do with Jesus that really does resonate? That term, when they say Jesus, these entities run and flee. And then there's some folks out there in the reality saying that this doesn't work. It doesn't work anymore. Something's happened. I've heard all kinds of stuff. So it's almost like a play upon two different hierarchies of understanding and two facets of humanity saying, well, this works. Jesus, when you say Jesus' name, it goes away. And I agree with that. So it's just interesting that all this stuff is happening back and forth. So whatever's going on in the spiritual realm, it's affecting the physical. and you get into that, what Aleister Crowley would talk about, as above, so below, which I don't put any full stock in. But whatever he was doing, and whatever Mr. Aleister Crowley was doing back in those days, and playing around with fire back in 1918 and summoning this demon. And, yeah. It's not good. It's not good. So what if this Amalantra working, this ritualistic black arts, black magic portal back in 1918, over 100 years ago, what if Lam is still playing in that same gateway portal and communicating with folks and manipulating folks just like a trickster and playing this, let's say, devil's advocate and playing around and manipulating folks? And now here comes AI swooping in. And I'm not saying anything about any technocrat or anything. I'm talking about how powerful AI's gotten. So, is the Whistleblowers correct on this with Mr. Altman? Is he really truly summoning aliens? We will find out. But according to the Cant, that is what they're saying. So, what do you guys think? Comment below in the comments box. Let me know what you think about this. I'm trying to stay real calm, if you can tell, because here lately, I've been in a laughing, humorous mood every time I go live. So I'm trying to be real calm and hold back my tongue because I can go full-blown Kentuckian real quick on this topic. So, Matrix on steroids, Neo wake up, Jesus, we need to lean on him. Hello. Principalities, wickedness, sons of God, angels of God, all these different things, all these different facets of reality, and these different paradigms of whatever diabolical, genetic altering Nephilim there is out there. Something's going to be revealed. We don't know what it is. We don't know what date. Everybody keeps saying 2030. There's all these different agendas. And somebody has to have this understanding. We're entertaining angels unaware. Mr. Aleister Crowley went up there and he said, stop, drop, set him up, open up shop. And hey, I just opened up a gate. And Mr. Lam, Iwas, he's playing around and putting pentagrams and giving me sacred knowledge. Just think about that. Psychic abilities. Yeah. Interdimensional, non-intelligent human. Non-intelligent. Y'all got that, didn't you? I had to throw a little humor in there. But other than that, I didn't say that. Well, I might need to rewind, but intelligence, super intelligence, pulling in something that is of ancient antiquity. So with that being said, I want to thank you all so very much for being part of the Visual Disturbance channel. Keep it fresh, keep it real, and I give a couple of y'all a shout out. Somebody said escape the Matrix, and then somebody said stay safe and blessed. Yep, Joe, all you guys, y'all be blessed. It's a short and sweet one today, short and sweet, but welcome to the channel. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank y'all so very much for your attendance today. Live here. Hit all the links in the description box. Visual Disturbance is going to be coming back here tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Stargate side of things. Not on this channel, but another platform. Go check it out if you get an opportunity. But other than that, you guys be blessed. Keep it fresh. Keep it real. Stay, let's just say, not clovariant. Let's just stay coherent. Other than that, be coherent. Don't accidentally open up the Pandora's box. And other than that, folks, be blessed. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your lovely day wherever you are on this good old earth. And just in case I don't see you anymore, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Visual Disturbance, I'm out of here. See you on the next live. Have a great day.
I've got one that can see.